Hello, welcome back to the channel. I am Corey, you are watching Plain and Simple, and today I am standing on this ledge like a glorious pigeon, overlooking all that we've accomplished thus far. You can see off in the distance our coal generators, our batteries we built previously, our chicken god we make sacrifices to in order to gain tickets, and this beautiful iron line of 4 rows, and there goes the truck for our coal. This leading into the base where we finished up 3 layers of crafting last time to get us a lot of our base materials for early game. All in iron, of course. Today, we're going to be focusing more on the main base build, bringing in copper, limestone for concrete, and starting to get on construction of possibly some steel to help us move forward. First things first, we got to plan out where everything's going, and I'm thinking the concrete production is going to be right under the main storage and power line area, so that it doesn't really have to feed directly into anything else until we get to steel, and I can feed this into the transport layer to then go over to the other side of the base. In that fact, I'm thinking of having steel on the other opposite side, just to make things difficult, of course, and then having things like copper and maybe caterium down on this side. Random wall. Ah, yes, and the last thing I want to get in here as well is some quartz to get the silica producing so I can actually make windowed walls again. I want to have more of these in the base and make it feel a little bit more open, and for that, we need to find where that actually is. Wow. That is very far away. This room, however, is looking fantastic so far. I'm going to love the look of all the belts running through, feeding up to the storage, the light shining on down. And starting with copper, we need, just like iron, 30 per minute to make 30 ingots per minute. Not bad. Only problem is we have a lot less copper nodes nearby than iron nodes. Another mini cleanup project eventually. But these 2 nodes down here are impure, and that most likely means the other one is impure as well. Yes. So they can only produce 30 with a Mark 1, 60 with a Mark 2. So that's 120 there. And let's take a note of that. And I forgot, as we're looking for copper, we actually had this cave over here that I found way early on. And now that I have something I'm more confident killing with, let's get rid of these little guys. If they weren't so quick! Hello? Game lag. Jesus. I hear more. Ooh, okay. What else do we have down here, huh? Ooh, a blue boy. Actually, now green power slugs have changed over to blue. Apparently they thought it would stand out against the green landscape a little better. Makes sense. God, I hate these things. I hope there's something worthwhile down here. I am not going to be able to continue. That is poison. So, that leads really deep. We're going to have to come back here eventually. Coming up on number 3, normal. We can get 120 out of this guy with a Mark II. And number 4, which is normal. So that's 2 120 lines, 2 60 lines. So that's at least 3 of 120. Alright. You can't tell me that doesn't look like a middle finger. You know what? I'm going to leave it. That is a beautiful hunk of rock right there. Doggo 2, Doggo 2. Come on. We need to get our buddy a friend. Dang, you eat quick. Alright, buddy. Come on, we're gonna get you back to base. Yeah, you guys play. Have fun. Adorable. Jumping back over the old base area so we can get creating on some of our encased beams. We're going to need those for our Mark II miners. We are also going to need... Let's go ahead and just put it on our belt, shall we? 1, 2, we need 4 in total. Need more modular frames, steel pipes. Oh, steel pipes. You know what? Change of plans. We are taking out this guy because I know that is only a Mark 1. I thought you were a Mark 2, you deceivious bastard. Well, on to plan C. So, plan C, we are cutting this down to 1. Just need to make 1. We need some encased industrial beams and modular frames. We may have enough here already. We do. Now, with this, I am instead going to focus on the production for steel, because steel is going to get us everything we need for the Mark II miners and everything else. We are producing some modular frames over there in a temporary setup until we get something real hooked up. But I'm working on some general design ideas for the center here, and there are now 2 different walkway types we can try. This one, which is the original, I believe. And then this one, which is one of the new ones. I am definitely leaning towards this one. Yes. It's pretty dark right now, so it might be harder to see on the screen, but I like this concept. A basic walkway, nothing insane, but it's just kind of the little details that are just starting to pull this together. Ooh, what if eventually I replace all of the walls with the windowed walls inside, so it's almost like a mini terrarium downstairs and then terrarium for crafting up top. Still dark out, but we are grabbing the last modular frames we need to make a couple of different things. So I want to make the miner Mark II, the coal, and then hook up a trucking station on the second coal node that we found way off in the distance, to then bring it back here to get started on our steel production, because we have a couple more iron nodes down that way. That should work, and there were a couple big guys up there. I'm going to want to up my health and grab ammo. We should now be all set, and off we go. As the sun rises. I wonder if that's, yeah, sun rises, east sets in the west. So here it rises in the west and sets in the east. Never noticed that before. And right up this ladder should be our coal. Spike again. Oh, this only takes 2 shots. That's nice. Come here, buddy. Nope. Oh, die. Oh, there we go. 2 down. Coal here, which is pure. That is a lot of coal. So here is the coal production way far away. Looking up some Mark III belts because that's pure, which means it's going to give us 270 per minute, which is a full Mark III belt. That is a lot of coal. These have changed as well since the last time we used them. There's now 2 input lines and 2 output lines, which is good. 1 fuel line still, which is no worries. But now we got to get power over to this thing. So that is going to be the next step. Get another truck station back at the base, and then drive the truck around. I got to figure out hookups. There's a lot to do. I think I've done my math correctly this time. So we can, with the materials we have, we're going to need 240 iron and 240 coal per minute. The coal is already hooked up at 270 per minute, so that leaves extra for gas for the trucks. The next things, we can build 8 constructors for iron, 1 for the coal pure that just comes into the steel foundries. We'll need another 6 of those, generating 360 steel per minute. Out of that 360 steel, we can make either beams or pipes. Beams or pipes. Now, beams take 60 steel to make 15 per minute, and pipes take 30 to make 20 per minute. So, if I'm counting correctly, we can make 4 for the beams, giving us 50 per minute, needing 240 steel, and 4 pipes to make us 120 steel per minute, making us 80 pipes per minute. That is a lot of steel stuff, and that is going to solve a lot of our problems. I'm going to need a lot more of these than I realized for future use, so we're going to hook up a permanent build sometime soon. But for now, we are just going to hook up some rods and some of the reinforced iron plates to get making them automatically for the time being. And we can actually use a little bit of our new stuff, which we could grab our floor holes. I will put one right about there for now. Put a lift in here. And in our transport layer, we have the first item being transported through, which is kind of neat. While we're waiting for those to be able to be finished, let's go ahead, take a nighttime drive to set up our other path. So apparently something is different with trucks, because for some reason the other two that I've built are not loading or unloading anything, and I'm trying to see if this one's actually still working. Which it is. It is working just fine. Maybe the vehicle has to be automated for some reason? I'm passing by the center of the base again, and I still love this thing every time I walk through it. Ah. Neat. So here's the concept. Let's go ahead and throw together a recording of literally just us leaving and circling right back on itself. Slow it down there, buddy. And it works. Okay, so you have to be automated for some reason. That is good to know. Last couple of belts, that is off. That's going to bother. I'm not going to worry about it right now. Last couple of belts, and we have our steel production ready to go. As far as steel itself, all the crafting items, need to hook those up top, and then the next step is to gather iron and actually get it in here as well with the coal. Everything is now hooked up, ready to go with power and belts. Now down here, as a reminder, we have a couple of smelters that are going to be making just enough iron to feed into the foundries, combining coal and iron into steel, feeding up directly to the next level, where we're going to be making the iron items. So 2 different stacks of these, much more open layout. Maybe we'll throw quartz or something over here on this side. But that is ready to go. We just need to hook up, once again, actual ore and make sure she's running. Coal is now hooked up to the base. So I found 2 normal nodes over here with a couple more regular nodes, impure nodes over there. I'm just going to use these 2. I'm going to simplify things down a little bit, start getting a stack back to where we need it to go, and then I need to get Mark II miners in these as well. Belts, check. Buddy, what are you doing indoors? You're not supposed to be inside. Get out. Get out of my base. Oh, are you a ghost? Was he a ghost? Oh, no, there he is. Never mind. Miners, check. Power, check. Iron ore, check. Iron production, check. Steel production, check. Steel beams, check. And steel pipes is a check-a-rooney. That means all of our steel production is set up and good to go. At least the base level. Now moving on, what do we got to do next? Next thing is we definitely need to get the copper production into the base to finish out all of our very basics, but I have some quartz that I've been collecting over time, and of course I put my crafting bench as far away as possible. I need quartz crystal. There we go. And with that quartz crystal and reinforced iron plates, we can create all of these different kinds of signs. So let's see how big these are. Ooh, and what they actually look like. Shenanigans. Okay, so a little bit longer sideways style. Got our slightly bigger ones. Portrait ones, square, which is very tiny. Square a little bit larger, and square double that size, which I'm one short. You get the idea. This is beautiful. If I come up to one of these, I should be able to configure with... Wow, a lot of different stuff. This is going to make it amazing. Different types of signs, trying them out, and I kind of like these small ones, honestly. A little bit the best. The big ones are also kind of nice, the big squares with just the image, and then we have a couple that can do this as well, and I like them all, but I think I like them just because they're new. But that's going to be up to project for another time, honestly. Next up, let's check on how our steel production is actually doing. We're apparently already full on the steel beams, which is good, and these are not far behind. They are almost full as well. With the steel being produced, I want to run over here, clean up a little bit of this space, get some of this out of the way, and start producing more in the base. But for the end of today's episode, I also want to be able to finish out our basic production items. That being copper for wire and cable, and limestone for concrete. Just finished out a very quick encased industrial beam setup for the Mark II miners, because we need that for that. And a couple things that are interesting. Copper, not going to be an issue. Pretty easy to calculate. Similar like iron and everything else, it just does 30 to 30 per minute, and then the rest are pretty easy to figure out. The limestone and concrete, however, that is the slightly more confusing one that I'm going to have to start playing around with belts for, because we need 45 per minute, which doesn't match any of the normal lines of 30, 60, 120, anything like that. And time to clean up this little spot we got going on. 1 copper. 2 copper. My little middle finger boy. Beautiful. 3 copper and 4 copper. And that should do us for a basic setup there. 120 on each line, feeding directly into the base. While the copper's hooked up, we still need to get all the constructors and everything else in for the actual items, but I had an idea to solve our limestone problem as well. Oh, this is normal. So, since we're in the middle of building belts, I might as well start getting some of these hooked up. The idea is to get our numbers, we need either 1 normal and 1 impure with Mark IIs, or 3 impures with Mark IIs hooked together into 180 lines, divided by 2, 90, divided by 2 there, 45. So that can fit up to 4 constructors for our concrete with each of those. Yep, that's about right. Or we could just find a pure node nearby too. That'll feed us for 6 out of 270. 4 lines in on the right, 3 lines in on the left from our nice pure... Oh god, autosave lag is horrible. 3 lines in on the other side from our pure node off in the distance, so now we just need 1 more 90 line, and we are golden. And with that being our final line, down here is an absolute mess, but that is going to be 4 lines of 90, helping to support... Oh my god, that was weird. Helping to support all of the constructors that we have up there right now, so it's hopefully going to be 2, 4, 6, 8, 16 in total, making just concrete. And the final power lines have been placed for both of our constructors here for the concrete limestone production, doing 120 per each line going out. And power has been hooked up for the copper production as well, so we can start, once I hook up lines, actually start getting copper into production. Neat. And final copper builds in. Now, we built the same thing 2 or 3 times already, so I'm not going to go heavily into detail on what's going on, but we have 2 120 lines on each side, feeding up to the next level. Then we need a whole bunch of constructors for wire, cable, and copper sheets. However, that is going to have to wait until another time, because I am running out of time for this episode specifically. So, the last thing I want to check before we go ahead and call it a day is, do we have any upgrades we can do or research that we can finish? That answer is a yes. Nutritional mixture, which will give us nutritional inhaler. Ooh, and I have those things. Got him. So then let's get our nutritional inhaler and see what that does. Probably just does health stuff. Here we go. Here we are. Ooh! It completely refills health. That is a beautiful thing. But that is just about all the time I'm going to have for today. Today we finished a lot, honestly. We got all of the steel production started in the base for all of our... those two items. You know what they are. I've mentioned them a couple times because I just can't remember right now. We also hooked up copper into the base, got that started, hooked up all of our limestone into the base to get a ton of concrete producing in the bottom floor there. So, we have been doing a lot of construction inside some tiny rooms in the base, and that's been the focus for a few episodes now. So I want to switch things up next time. We are, honestly, starting to get a laundry list of items we need to complete, but I want to see what else is in the world. I want to drive around and explore kind of where I can go, what new items might be out there, and maybe mark down a lot of cool places. Thank you all for watching. I'm Corey, you are on the Plain and Simple channel, and I'll catch y'all in the next episode.